very special Veterans Day edition of the NBA on 2K Sports. I'm Kevin Harlan, joined by Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg. Our starting lineups, we'll look at the matchups here and who we'll see for our starting five. Just over 3.5 minutes gone here in the first. He faces to Conley. Conley left side. Some solid defense from Fresh. Let's go quickly over to Doris Burke for an update.
Hey, Kevin, I had a chance to talk with head coach of the Grizzlies. He said that they weren't going to try and be overly aggressive with their defense and not take too many risks that can burn them. He said, in a first meeting like this, you don't want to beat yourself by overplanning. We know we have a smart defense, and we'll see if they can unlock it first before we start adjusting. We'll find out if they need to do that soon enough.
All right, great stuff, Doris. Thanks. That was not too much of a surprise that defense is going to be the emphasis.
Yeah, that's the type of team they are. They always seem to feed off of that defense and just really trying to attack and force some turnovers and get out and run.
Exactly, Steve. I mean, that's really what drives them on a game-to-game basis.
Shot clock at 6. It's stolen. He kicks to George. Shoots it up. And again, it's Indiana. And a closer look here at the hustle stats for the Pacers.
Well, their frenetic defense has really been impressive, putting a lot of pressure on ball handlers, turning them over.
You know, they've also shown some real tenacity here early on tonight. It's paid off with a lot of second chance points.
And out of bounds as the Pacers gain possession.
Way too loose on that inbounds pass.
So Memphis going with almost an entire new group here. Marcus Saul's checked in for Koufos. Miller comes in for Tayshaun Prince. Tony Roten, he's checked in for Tony Allen. And Jared Bayless subbed in for Mike Conley. Fresh, defended by Bayless. Hill passes to Fresh. And stolen by Miller. Here is Bayless, defended by West. The dish to Roten. Feeds it to Bayless. He passes to Roten. Some nice passing there by Memphis. And Jared Bayless the bucket on the assist from Roten. Bayless has got himself on the board with 3 there. Here's Fresh. Bounces high off the rim and drops. And so here's Memphis. 9-point game. They come in fresh off a win against the Warriors.
Yeah, it didn't seem to be much of a challenge for them in that game. It seemed like they scored and, well, not much defense that they were facing.
Yep, they had the defense on its heels early the entire game, and actually nearly the entire game.
We play just over a minute of basketball here in the second quarter. Randolph kicks to Allen. Pass to Conley. The feed to Prince. And low to Davis. Gets it to go. Davis has got his first points in this one.
Those are the kind of nice inside looks they've gotten in the first half here.
And I think they should really continue to work it down low, Clark. That's really going to free up the rest of their offense.
Fresh, he's in a point guard. Mahini is out there with Danny Granger. That's George Hill. And it's George in at the 3, the small forward. That's the Pacers 5. Steve was talking about this moments ago about the sweep. Not easy to do, certainly, when you take on an opponent, when you know. And even just a 2-game series like this one is, and it won't be any easier this year, I don't think, either, Clark.
No, it won't. I mean, we can be pretty certain, Kevin, that both of these teams are going to be battling for the top spot in their respective conferences. So the games between them will be hard-fought and tough.
Goes up on the wing. Prince misses.
That's not a sight you see very often. I mean, he has a great feel for that jump shot, especially when he's open.
Hill drives in. Fresh for Mike Conley. No good from Fresh.
Indiana had perhaps the toughest defense in the league. They just didn't have any weaknesses defensively. If you attack them inside, they were able to challenge you at the rim. You tried to shoot over them, they were challenging you with their length on the perimeter, and they didn't back down. So it's not a surprise they were near the top in every defensive category.
Clock is at 3. Here's Prince. And he overshot that one, missing. Indiana leading by 7. Here's George. No good. Prince with the defensive effort.
Well, those chances are almost always 2 points for him. I guess the defense did what it had to do to bother him.
Conley wishes for Prince. The pass to Davis. Takes it to Gasol. Granger with the defensive effort. And Clark, the numbers back up what you were saying about the Pacers. A lot of stat heads will look at opponents' effective field goal percentage as a measuring stick for defense. And the Pacers team were the best in the league at that.
Well, they pass the eye test, that's for sure. Yeah, I mean, they challenge every shot. They get out to the three-point line. They block shots at the rim. And there's a reason this team is so good at the defensive end.
Okay, well, let's check in with Doris Burke, reporting from our sideline in this game. Doris, take it away.
Guys, for Dave Yeager, the new Grizzlies head coach, 6 seasons with them as an assistant. Before that, he won 5 titles coaching in the minor leagues. Yeager said, quote, "This is a blue-collar town, and I'm a blue-collar guy. I came up the hard way. I came up through the minor leagues. This is something I've been preparing for a long time. Guys," he says, "he knows how to win. We'll see how he does."
Thanks, Doris. That confidence has certainly served him well.
Yeah, what he gives his team, to me, guys, is a defensive anchor in the paint. Someone who can clog the lane and really block a lot of shots.
And it's so important to have.
There's 18 seconds left in the first half. Now Bayless. He picked up 27 points in their last win against Golden State.
Well, he was aggressive at both ends of the floor. He had 3 steals in that game, remember?
Yes, yeah. Here's Randolph. And we finished one half of basketball. Pacers lead by 13.
Now, presented by Sprint.
Today's the day to honor our nation.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
Well, we're into the third quarter, just over 2.5 minutes played. Gasol passes to Davis. It's Prince on the wing, defended by Copeland. Bayless's shot is off.
And out of Arizona, Jared Bayless, a slashing combo guard. His jump shot is a little streaky, but he's really good at attacking off the dribble and drawing fouls.
So the Grizzlies 5 right now. Allen and Prince on the perimeter. Davis is out there with Marc Gasol. And it's Bayless in at the 1. For Indiana, they haven't made a mistake at the line yet. 10 of 10.
And you look at the numbers from a year ago, guys, this is a club that hit about 75% of its free throws.
Catching up on the changes for Memphis. Kufis checked in for Gasol. And Mike Miller subbed in for Tayshaun Prince. And Hibbert hits them both. And Bayless stepping into that reserve role in Memphis last season.
It was really a perfect role for him. Kevin, he backed up Mike Conley, but also played alongside Conley as the 2 guard. Bayless is a combo. He can score, he can handle the ball, make decisions as well, but really kind of found his niche in the league last season.
6 on the shot clock. Knocks down the 10-footer. Bayless has got 5 points so far. Looking at the last game for the Indiana Pacers, it was a win against the Nets in Brooklyn.
And I think, Kevin, it really showed how important it is to have a strong bench performance. You go out on the road, you can't rely on your starters night in and night out. The reserves have to contribute and help them out.
I think we definitely saw that, Steve, throughout the game. They were really tied together as a team. It made a difference who was out on the floor. You'll take every road game win you can, and they're happy with that one.
Paul George, he's checked in for the Pacers.
You know, for a good part of last season, guys, the Grizzlies were in the battle for the 3rd spot in the West along with the Clippers and Nuggets. Eventually, they finished 5th, but it wasn't because they didn't handle Eastern Conference opponents. They cleaned up against that conference.
No good from Fresh.
They've been able to get out to this lead without really getting a very reliable performance out of him from the field.
Passes it to Bayless. Dishes it to Randolph. Granger covering. Got a piece of it. And so it looks like the Grizzlies will retain possession here. And back to the Grizzlies against... Fresh, defended by Okoyen. He dishes it to Stevenson. Granger outside, shoots it. Here's Hibbert. Ball's knocked loose. Stolen by Allen. It's 3-on-3 on the fast break. Down low, West and Hibbert. Fresh is out there with Lance Stevenson. And it's Granger in at the 3 slot. So that's the group out there for Indiana. Allen. Memphis moving it around. Here's Okoyen. Just 5 on the clock. No good on his first attempt of the game. Indiana's gotten off to an 0-for-2 start from downtown here in the 4th quarter. Here's Fresh. And 2 free throws coming up as he misses that one. Drawing the whistle and a lot of contact here.
One thing that always translates from team to team is defense. No matter who you play, if you can challenge shots and bother shooters and play together, you'll win. And that's why the Pacers had so much success against Western teams last year.
Michael Conley. He's checked in for Memphis. Allen kicks to Prince. Outside Conley. Pass to Gasol. That's in there. Conley with the assist. Conley's got 3 assists in the game. And over the last decade or so, it's usually been the Western teams getting the better of the Eastern teams more often than not. But the Pacers able to be the exception because of their defense, as you were talking about.
Yeah, if you can defend and rebound, you can beat anyone at any time on anybody's floor. And I think the Pacers were able to do that last year, 18-12 against the West. And that only trailed Miami as far as Eastern Conference teams and their success against the West.
Here's Fresh. The Grizzlies pull it in.
He's far too tentative in the paint, and even more so when the defender is up tight on him like that time.
Paul George with the steal. From 13. And the shot's good after hitting off the rim. And that's 11 points for Fresh. And a chance to catch up on some numbers here. The hustle stats for the Pacers.
Their high-energy defensive effort has paid off for them, guys, with more than a few steals over the course of the ball game.
And I'll tell you, the other thing that's been a factor is the transition game. They're scoring a lot of points on the fast break.
Granger against Prince. Goes back up, and it's good. Off through contact, it's the shot. He'll go to the free throw line.
That rebound and the follow kind of typify what he's all about. Just gritty, determined play.
And the Grizzlies making a change here. Randolph is checked in. And that one falls for Davis.
You know, guys, the Grizzlies are a bit of a throwback team, and I like their moniker of grit and grind. It really was their identity of toughness and physicality, and I thought that's how they played, and as a result, they had a terrific season.
And Memphis making a change here. Gasol's checked in. For Memphis, they've gone 5 for 9 from the field in the final quarter so far. Conley into the lane. Randolph. Here's Fresh.
And that 4th foul might force him to scale back the aggression defensively a little bit. He does not want to pick up number 5.
So Memphis going with almost an entire new group here. Miami's checked in for Hibbert. Chris Copeland comes in for David West. Hill, he's checked in for Danny Granger. Lance Stevenson subbed in for Paul George. And it's blocked by Mahinmi.
They've shown effort and aggression in the paint right from the tip. Their rebounding edge is impressive.
And I'll tell you what, they've turned a lot of those rebounds into points at the other end.
No good off the front iron.
It looked like he rushed that one, guys. The defense was out of position. He was wide open, just couldn't take advantage.
And the shot's good from Okoyen. But Clark, you mentioned the Grizzlies' old-fashioned style of play. There may be some changes in the offing. The new ownership group has made it a focal point to use, Steve, more advanced stats to inform their decision-making, analytics.
Well, and what will be interesting, Kevin, is that, in most advanced stats, advanced stat gurus will tell you you need three-point shooting. This was a very poor three-point shooting club a season ago. So I would expect them to start going more in that direction, but you can't get away from your identity, which is the low-post game of Gasol and Randolph.
Just 5 to shoot, and out of bounds as the Pacers gain possession. Koyen, the pass to Randolph. Fires from 18. It's rebounded by Copeland.
That's a very low percentage shot. Not good basketball at all. One he probably should have passed on.
A serious game-clinching run. They've taken off here. Impressive.
No backing off. What a surge at the right time. Good. Now there's something for the top 10 highlight reel right there. A layup can be just as sweet and as pretty as a dunk sometimes.
Just 1 second between the shot clock and game clock. No good from Fresh. Here's Randolph. Good-looking screen by Gasol. Here's Koyen. A three-pointer off the mark.
Couldn't convert, but nice little two-man game there.
And it wouldn't surprise me to see them go back to that the next trip.
Perseverance paying off on the offensive boards.
The team has played pretty well lately. It's been a while since your last loss. How long do you think this streak can go?
One more game? 34 more? Man, you're asking the wrong guy. All I care about is the game I'm playing right now. I focus all my energy on doing whatever it takes to win against this team right here. I can't be getting caught up in win streaks or individual stats or anything else. Just play basketball, man. That's what we're all getting paid to do.
All this so you can survive when law is lawless. Feeling sensations that you thought was dead. No squealing, remember that it's all in your head. Hey.
Now, I told you, do it now. Let's go. You wanna hate me, then hate me. What can I do?
It's Eastern Conference time for the traveling Milwaukee Bucks today. 2K Sports brings you Friday night NBA action. This is Kevin Harlan with Clark Kellogg and Steve Kerr. On the sideline tonight, Doris Burke. A quick check now of the starting five for both teams. We'll go to Doris Burke, who spoke with head coach Larry Drew.
They'll have to deal with the size and shooting combination that Danny Granger presents, and he knows that is going to be a tough problem. He said that even though Granger might not be one of the headliner names in the NBA, he can eat defenses alive with the mismatches he creates. He's hoping they can avoid that in this one, guys.
Great. Thanks for the report, Doris. And that one falls for Knight.
Well, you know, the Bucks thought they had a plan to make a big push forward by pairing some talent together in the backcourt, but what seems to have happened is they are now mired in mediocrity, which is exactly where you don't want to be.
Milwaukee making a switch here. Delfino's checked in. He doesn't get the second one. And back to Minnesota, they were the 8th seed in the East last year, but still finished 6 games under 500. Still a lot of work for them to get above 500 and be in a position where, Steve, they are, competing for home court in the playoffs.
Yeah, a lot of changes for the Bucks in the offseason, but a team that was able to sneak in last year, they're hopeful to make it once again this season, but it feels like they're kind of stuck in the middle right now.
Here's Smith. Henson. Nice D from Mahimi.
Tough D on the inside.
Put up a roadblock, a construction barrel right there. That's what he brings defensively.
Tries to keep it alive. It's stolen by Smith. Knight gets a screen from Udo. And Granger comes over to help. Smith dishes to Knight. Milwaukee, no good that time either.
He's got to contribute. He's got to produce if his team's going to get back in it this quarter.
And it's Granger penetrating. The shot, no good. Last outing for Indiana. They won that game against Memphis.
Well, Kevin, they constructed a perfect offensive game plan going into that game, and it was quickly apparent how powerless the defense was to stop it.
Powerless is a good way to put it, Steve. We're unlikely to see that many uncontested baskets again anytime soon.
And an overpowering first quarter effort. Already a double-digit advantage. Pacers lead by...
This Sunday, November 16th, Paul George and the Indiana Pacers.
And welcome back. It's been all one-sided so far through the first quarter as our second quarter gets underway. In a moment to look at the scoring approach in terms of where the points are coming from for the Pacers.
Boy, the three-point shot has really been dropping for them early on.
And they're knocking down that mid-range jump shot, too, so they're really doing a nice job offensively.
Down low, Weston Hibbert. Fresh is out there with George Hill. And it's Hill in at the 3. So that's the group out there for Indiana. Gets the bucket. 7 points for O.J. Mayo.
One of the bright young head coaching stars in the league, Frank Vogel, took over the Pacers on an interim basis 3 seasons ago and immediately paid dividends. They had a strong finish to that season and his first season in a competitive first-round series against Chicago, and that success has continued to build and grow, and Frank Vogel deserves a lot of the credit.
And the basket by Hill.
That's like a layup for him. He's just wide open out there.
Bucks trail by 21. Guys are looking for a spark here.
Yeah, I mean, a cold stretch offensively. They desperately need a basket.
Bucks passing it around. Delfino with the 3. Another shot outside Mayo. He dishes it to Sanders. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up and 2 shots coming up.
How about a look at the Pacers and where they ranked in the NBA last season? First in rebound, 4th in blocks. As far as free throw shooting as a team goes, not a strong suit. Top 20 in the league. A little bit of...
Here's Granger. He's got 19. The pass to Fresh. Can't get it to go. And Milwaukee will come the other way. And Coach Vogel, the second youngest coach in the NBA last season, but he'd been working in the NBA for 15 years, Steve, prior to that, finally becoming a head coach.
Yeah, 5 years as a video coordinator, a couple seasons as an advanced scout, and then 8 years on the bench as an assistant. So he's definitely paid his dues and learned a lot on his way up the ladder.
It was certainly a slow start to the season for the Pacers. Their veteran and leading scorer, Danny Granger, was on the shelf with a knee injury, but somehow this team found its identity around defense and the emergence of some younger players that may serve them well going forward. You get Danny Granger back with the young, emerging talent, this team should contend for a while.
And Doris Burke has a report for us from the sideline.
Hi, guys. Fresh in their last game against the Grizzlies made some major contributions. He ended with 19 points, And in addition to his scoring, he also came away with a season high for rebounds. It was a great contribution from someone who's considered a bit more of a role player on his team.
Doris, thank you. Well, guys, he made play after play in that game.
Well, as he often does, Kevin, and we'll see. Maybe he'll explode again tonight because the momentum that he took away from that game, he's got to be feeling confident.
Well, I don't know if it'll carry over, but clearly the fact that you have a high-level performance in your recent memory bank has to do you some good. And like you said, Steve, we'll find out tonight whether it continues.
And it's sent back by George. Whoops, there's the 24-second shot clock violation, so they'll turn it over. John Henson's checked in for Milwaukee. Ilyasova comes in for Carlos Delfino. Pacers leading by 18. And Granger was able to come back for them for a stretch during the regular season, but eventually had to once again miss the rest of the games. But the team had grown to where, that probably didn't derail them, as it might have, Steve, in the past.
Well, the big thing with the Pacers, Kevin, is that they have a lot of depth now across the roster. And with the emergence of Paul George, who kind of took Granger's spot, they were able to move on pretty well without him.
He didn't need to make the layup complicated. I mean, it's not a trick shot contest, but he decided to go for a little extra flavor on that one.
Knight passes to Smith. Knight back to Smith. Rest with the block. The shot's good from Henson. Henson's got his first points of the game. So for the Bucks, their last game a loss to the Magic in Orlando.
And I think the sort of issues they had on defense, in part at least, was a bigger factor. Really compounded, I think, because it was on the road. You have to be sharper when you go out and play as a visitor.
Yeah, everything has to be tight. You can't be loose in any aspect of your game. You're fighting against the crowd and the opponent. You've got to be tougher, mentally and physically, if you're going to win on the road.
Smith kicks to Knight. Dishes to Henson. Pocket 6. Pass to Hibbert. It's tipped and stolen by Knight. Shot clock and game clock separated by less than 6 seconds. Smith dishes to Knight. Just 5 on the clock. And the shot is good. Knight's got 5 points now in the quarter.
I don't know who was supposed to be on him there, but clearly a mistake by the defense.
Here's Fresh. And 2 free throws coming up as he misses that one. Drawing the whistle and a lot of contact there.
And the defense fouling there to prevent that layup, forcing 2 free throws here.
Nice job that time of attacking the paint and drawing the contact. They'll take that.
So he comes up empty, missing both. And through one half, it hasn't even been close. It's the Pacers up by 6.
Now, presented by Sprint.
The weekend is finally upon us, and on this Friday night, it's time for the halftime show. Out in Indiana, it's the Pacers taking care of business against Milwaukee. They look to continue their winning streak. And if you like scoring, you love their first half of basketball. They're putting up points, doing it right.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
Milwaukee's gotten blank from three-point land so far in the third. Still 0 for 3.
The Bucks were the last team to make it into the Eastern Conference playoffs, and part of the reason that happened was because they didn't really do well against the rest of the conference. 24 and 28 against the East.
On the court for the Bucks, Mayo and Delfino are the wings. Udo out there with Sanders, and it's Knight in at the point guard. Well, we're into the third quarter, just over 2.5 minutes played. Mayo into the lane, outside Delfino. David West grabs the miss. West has got his 4th rebound in this one. But as you were saying, the rest of the Eastern Conference got the better of the Bucks. Had they been a little tougher against some of the lesser teams in their own conference, they might not have had to deal with the Heat in the first round of last year's playoffs.
Well, the Bucks tried to mix things up last year. Remember, they made the big trade at midseason, too, going for J.J. Redick and moving on from some of their young players. And I think that changed. And, of course, the coaching switch from Scott Skiles to Jim Boylan. So they lost some of their momentum.
Now let's send it to Doris on the sideline.
Well, Kevin, a curious signing for the Bucks this offseason, bringing in Pachulia on a 3-year mid-level type deal. This is a team that already had a lot in the front court with Sanders, Henson, Ilyasova, and Drew Gooden. The Bucks traded away promising forward Tobias Harris last year for what became a couple of second-round picks. They did much the same with Mbah Moute. It's all about getting the most out of your assets. Guys, we'll see how the Bucks do shuffling their pieces around.
It'll be interesting to see. Thanks, Doris.
O.J. Mayo is out of USC. He's in his 6th season in the NBA, fellas, and he was considered the top player in his high school class. Very, very highly regarded. He's yet to be a star at the professional level, but I think he's looking to solidify himself as a quality starter.
Smith, the pass to Delfino. 5 to shoot. The 3. That's good. Delfino's got 5 points now this quarter. And for O.J. Mayo, 6'4" player. Some people saw him as a guy who could play point guard, shooting guard. He's just a player that he can do a lot of things on the floor.
He's a decent ball handler, but he's a shooting guard. He can be a little bit of a combo guy, but for the most part, he's out there to score, and most of those points coming off jump shots.
Looking at who's out there now for the Pacers. Hibbert comes in for David West. And George Hills subbed in for Orlando Johnson. Smith off a pick from Udo. Kicks it to Ridnour. Out of bounds, Indiana takes possession. Here is the 2K leaderboard with the list of last season's top three-point shooters. We'll take a look at Ilyasova. Dangerous player from three-point land. A great talent with a great release.
Yeah, very deserved spot for him among the league's leading three-point shooters. He was terrific last season.
Ridnour with the steal. Smith kicks to Ilyasova. It's good, the assist that time from Smith. Ilyasova's got 10 points.
Great job capitalizing on that steal and getting the easy points in transition.
Exactly how it should be done after a turnover.
Here's Fresh. Gets it to go. Fresh has got 9 points now in just the second half.
These defenders look overmatched right now, especially inside.
Yeah, you look at the numbers, 10 of the last 12 points have come from close range, so I agree.
Smith kicks to Ilyasova. Back to Smith. Feeds to Ridnour. From deep three-point range, the Pacers pull it in. George has got 5 rebounds tonight. They're getting their first look of the season at the Bucks in this one.
Well, going back to last year for a second, this was one of the few matchups that they didn't get the better end of things. They split the season series.
Steve, you mentioned the stalemate they played a year ago. Do you see that happening again this year?
Kevin, I'm not sure. It's really too early to tell. It wouldn't surprise me, I'd say that much, after what happened last year.
Pachulia, he's checked in for the Bucks. Both free throws good from Fresh.
Well, you look at Paul George, my man, PG 24. The young swingman out of Fresno State. Boy, he had a terrific year last season, was the most improved player last season, and a first-time NBA All-Star. And consider how young he is. Just turned 23. And he's got the potential to make plenty more All-Star games. And I think he could ultimately be the Defensive Player of the Year at some time in his career. Excellent. Really solid job, actually, by the defense to get in his way as he was going up for that one.
And he's good at the buzzer. Wow!
And an ideal finish to the quarter for them as he drains it at the buzzer.
Boy, I like the fact he didn't rush it at all. Fantastic shot.
The 3 quarters of play all.
Tune in next Wednesday night, November 20th. Paul George and the Indiana Pacers take on Carmelo Anthony and the New York Knicks. It's an Eastern Conference duel. Do not miss it.
And we're rolling here again with the fourth quarter. Might not come down the wire. Poked away, and it's out of bounds. The Bucks able to retain possession here. But Julia, he's checked in for Larry Sanders. Got a piece of it. Fresh in at point guard. Hill is out there with Chris Copeland. And there's Ian Mahinmi. And it's Johnson in at the 2. So that's the group out there for Indiana.
Talked about some great numbers for Fresh. He had 18 points, and 4 of his points have come at the foul line. He's made the most of those opportunities.
Which can't be undervalued, Clark. So many times a game can come down to which team wins the free throw battle.
Milwaukee's gone 3 of 5 from beyond the arc since the final quarter's gotten underway. Walters passes to Delfino, and there's the feed to Neal. He kicks it to Delfino. Wide open look. Kept alive. Here's Henson. And a missed layup. Indiana's gotten just 1 of 4 3-pointers to go down for them here in the fourth. Here's Neal. Pass to Walters. From 12 feet out. And the big shot is good. Walters got 9 points here in the second half.
I don't think we can say enough about the quarter he's had. Every one of his attempts has gone down.
And that's out of bounds. Indiana will retain possession. Here's Fresh. And foul calls. He misses. He'll go to the line and shoot 2.
You know, in Larry Drew's case, it was a bit of an unusual situation once the season concluded. He was in the final year of his deal. The Hawks said, we'll interview other candidates, and left him free to interview for other head coaching positions, and he landed in Milwaukee.
Well, Steve, back to Coach Drew, of course, he ended up signing with the Bucks.
Well, that was an interesting move for him to go from Atlanta to Milwaukee. The Hawks were one of the better defensive teams in the league last year. That's what the Bucks saw in Drew. And that's the idea for him to really help this team get the most out of its players, particularly defensively.
A minute 42 left in the fourth quarter. Here's Walters. Passes it to Henson. The dish to Pachulia. He feeds it to Delfino. 6 on the shot clock. The Bucks need to get a shot off here. And he gets contact and the whistle on the shot. 2 shots coming up. And then there's a call. It's on Indiana with the foul. Drops for Pachulia.
You know, you look at Jaja Pachulia, he's a guy I think that's underrated. He can really score around the basket. He knows how to use his body in a physical manner. And he can step out and knock it down from 15 feet, too.
And Pachulia drops them both. Back to Pachulia, originally from the Republic of Georgia in Eastern Europe, and has played most of his career in Atlanta, Georgia.
Probably a little different. Atlanta.
It is, Steve. It is a lot different, actually, than the Republic of Georgia.
Just a little. Yes. But he's really solidified his place in the league. Tough, throws his weight around, draws fouls. All the things you like in a backup center.
Delfino kicks to Walters. But Trey. Here's Henson. Shot tonight. And that'll be Milwaukee as it goes out of bounds. Bucks retain possession. The Bucks making a switch here. Ridnour's checked in. 51 seconds left in the fourth. Neal passes to Walters. He passes to Neal. Here's Walters from deep. Good.
A little confusion defensively.
Yeah, you know what? He sent the deal a mess with that three.
Goes up to the stripe. Here's Mahinmi. The jumper's good from inside 6 feet.
They certainly haven't let these fans down tonight. Been a fun night to be in the building.
It has been. I mean, the atmosphere has been great, and no doubt that helped with the winning effort.
Then now a screen on Johnson. He dishes it to Henson. And again, Milwaukee with the dribble.
Looks like they're going to finish strong, but just aren't enough ticks left on the clock.
Well, Steve, it's a good run they're having now, but they just waited too long to have it.
Here's Walters. Can't get it to fall. So no problem for Indiana as they get the win. How much to be critical of this win, Clark?
Not at all. I mean, they showed up not just to play, they showed up to give great effort and to win, and they did both.
Thank you for joining us for this presentation of NBA basketball on 2K Sports. For Clark, Stephen Doris, and the rest of the crew, Kevin Harlan saying see you next time.
You had 20 points for the game. You have to feel like you played a major role in this win with all of your offensive contributions. Any thoughts on your performance?
Yeah, I was definitely happy with the way things turned out. I thought the team played well as a whole, though, to tell you the truth. It's great that I was able to contribute to the win as much as I did, but my individual performance isn't really my main concern. You know what I'm saying? I'll give mine if it makes sense for the team, but I'm happy to step aside if it don't feel right. Good team win, baby. That's all I can say.
Public visitation. We met at borders. Told her she'd take me back. I'll be more supportive.
Fellas, we really got to key in on D Rose tonight. Keep him from getting to the hole, and this game is ours. Let's do it.
He laid out there very simple terms conveyed to his teammates. Defensively, they've got to get a job done. The Bulls play before the hometown crowd, and we've got it live for you right here from Chicago. Our starting lineups will look at the matchups here and who we'll see for our starting five for both teams. And guys, taking a look at Paul George, what will we see from him?
He's an exciting young player. Almost 6'10", great athleticism, length, dynamic finisher at the rim, and he can guard multiple positions defensively.
And you know what, Steve? His growth defensively has been just...
I'll go to Doris Burke, who spoke with Tom Thibodeau. Doris?
They'll have to deal with the size and shooting combination that Danny Granger presents, and he knows that is going to be a tough problem. He said that even though Granger might not be one of the headliner names in the NBA, he can eat defenses alive with the mismatches he creates. He's hoping they can avoid that in this one, guys.
Great, thanks for the report, Doris. Here's Heinrich, and he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him.
A bit of an odd year for Kirk Heinrich, who normally is a very efficient player, but started off last season shooting way below his career norms from the floor. Ran the team pretty well, but it's kind of strange to see him shoot so poorly.
And going back to Heinrich, more of a jump shooter offensive. Sometimes that shot can come in, of course, go.
Yeah, he's not the scorer that he once was in his younger days, but the main attribute for Heinrich is his defense. Just an incredible defender, great footwork, fundamentals, anticipation, and much stronger than he looks. He can guard ones and twos.
Out of bounds, bold ball, Chicago keeps possession. David West, he's checked in for Danny Granger. Out of bounds, Indiana takes possession.
How about a look at the Pacers and where they ranked in the NBA last season? First in rebounding, and as far as steals go, bottom third of the league. That's unacceptable.
But when you think about this club, the first thing that comes to mind is their ability to rebound the ball. Best in the league, so physical. They just pounded the glass, and that's how they tried to win games, just by being more physical than their opponents.
Here's Fresh. Drops it in from 11 feet.
And you talk about Frank Vogel guys and the Pacers. It seemed he won over his roster from the moment he took over. He placed a lot of confidence and trust in his players, and most importantly, brought a breath of positivity and positive energy to that locker room and to that team.
Gibson backs in. David West grabs the miss. Indiana lead by 5. The shot's good from Fresh. Fresh has got his second bucket.
And that's a difficult shot in the face of a defender that towers over.
He almost seems to enjoy those mismatches, Steve. It gives him a chance to show what a strong finisher he is.
And back to Vogel, he really helped instill the identity of this Pacers team of toughness and defense. And Steve, that willingness to battle.
That's a perfect fit with their personnel. The way he motivates this team to defend and play with that edge. I just love this group, the Pacers team, the talent, along with Frank Vogel. Just a really nice fit.
About 7 seconds separating the shot game clocks. Butler dishes to Dang, and that one's good.
Yeah, beautiful drive there, going right around the bigger man.
Indiana's gone a meager 1 of 6 from three-point land since we got started tonight. Here's Fresh. No good. Some solid defense from Rose. 3 on 3. It's the lead pass. Dang, here we go. Hill drives in. With 1 on the clock. No good on the buzzer beater. And that does it for the first quarter. Pacers out in front. They're up by 5.
The NBA season pushes on. Paul George and Indiana Pacers take on Carmelo Anthony and the New York Knicks next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
All right, the second quarter beginning. Looking at the last game for the Indiana Pacers, it was a win against Milwaukee.
I thought the way they attacked the rim and got into the paint was phenomenal. It seemed like after a while, the defense just kind of waved the white flag.
That's exactly what will happen when a team continues to attack the goal and come away with layup. It demoralizes the defense.
On the court for Indiana. Fresh, he's in at the point. Danny Granger out there with Chris Cope. And it's West, and it's Hill in the shooting guard position. And that one's good. Gibson's got his first points in this one. The Pacers have got only one of their first 4 shots in the second quarter to drop.
Bulls had won the Central each of the last 2 seasons, but were unable to make it 3 in a row as the Pacers grabbed the Central Division title last season. Still, considering the injuries, the Bulls had a good run.
Now the Pacers moving it up. Here's Fresh. And a foul called on the shot. Got him all the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here.
The offense is getting right to the rim. At least they save the layup with the foul.
That's old school basketball rules. I mean, at the end of the day, no easy layup. Earn it from the line.
The Pacers making a switch here. And back to the Bulls. They went 9-7 in division last year, Steve, and kept pace with the Pacers for a while for the title, but never could really close the gap.
It's seems like the Bulls are always in the mix for the Central Division title. And since the realignment in 2004, the Bulls have never finished in the bottom of this division, and more often than not, they're in one of the top 2 spots.
From the sideline, let's catch up with Doris Burke.
Gentlemen, in a lot of ways, Joe Kim Noah is the heart of this Bulls team. Coach Tom Thibodeau said, quote, he's an all-star, and I can see him winning Defensive Player of the Year. But the most important thing is he plays to win. He can have 5 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 blocks, and he's happy because he won. Guys, Derrick Rose said it best. He's a warrior, and everybody is following him.
Thanks, Doris. He's such a character, so passionate about his defensive role. The finger roll finish at the bucket. Fresh has got his 3rd bucket of the night.
Tell you what, it's hard to argue with the record for Coach Tom Thibodeau of the Bulls, but the rumor mill has it that the front office hasn't been happy with how hard he's ridden his top player, who Dang missed time last season with hamstring injury. Joe Kim Noah came down with plantar fasciitis. Hey, those things happen, and I'm not quite sure you can put that at the feet of Tom Thibodeau. That's a nice job of getting the ball in the paint and burying the shot. That's exactly how it's done.
High post try. Joe Kim Noah grabs the miss. Noah's got his 4th rebound in this one. T kicks to Heinrich. And the go-ahead bucket, no good. And go back to Tom Thibodeau, and that minutes load on his stars. It seems it's getting harder for players to weather big minutes team these days.
I think it's going to be really interesting going forward to see this Bulls team this year and beyond. Will that wear them down? Their guys played too many minutes. They've had a lot of injuries. I think it's time to scale back a little bit on the minutes played.
Down to 5 on the shot clock. Bruiser, no good.
Well, they were ready for him right there. I mean, totally collapsed the defense on him.
Johnson kicks to George. Pass to Fresh. From outside the arc. And it's Chicago with the rebound. The Pacers beat them last time when these 2 teams met in Indiana.
And what really killed them in that last matchup was the bench. I mean, they had no answer for the reserve players who really came off the bench and took control of that game offensively. Boy, where was the box out? Too easy on that second.
Now, presented by Sprint.
The weekend is in full swing on a Saturday night. Glad to have you along with us. Indiana with a lead against Chicago. And nice teamwork offensively. Moving the ball around. What a great way to play. And for the Bulls, they're still gunning it out. Boy, it's a real treat to see 2 elite teams just battling for supremacy. A dramatic advantage in
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
And one of the shores of Lake Michigan, the lights of the great city of Chicago, as we return.
Carlos Boozer had a strong quarter.
Inside, Gibson and Noah. On the wings, Butler and Dang. And it's Heinrich in at the 1 spot. So that's the 5 in the game for Chicago.
That is a tough layup with a guy right on him. Good defense, but better offense.
The Pacers shooting their 5th attempt at the line in the game.
And you look at the numbers from a year ago, guys, this is a club that hit about 75% of its free throw.
And comparing to the numbers of last season, they've made a bit of improvement. So that's some positive momentum they can look to build on. You know, a lot has been said about the Pacers and their defense, but in addition to them being great with their positioning and skill, they're one of the toughest and most rugged teams to deal with, both mentally and physically. They really pride themselves on playing smash mouth basketball, and don't hesitate to get into your airspace and get in your face.
Third quarter of basketball here in just a little under 3.5 minutes gone by. The feather touch on the finger roll. Beautiful. Heinrich's got his 2nd bucket tonight.
Even with the D lurking, he made it look easy with the soft finger roll.
And Clark, back to what you said, the Pacers did get in a few games last year where tempers flared and players got in each other's faces. But, Steve, you look back at all the great defensive teams in NBA history, and not a lot of them were a group of amicable guys.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, this is a great defense, and sometimes you have to ruffle feathers and get in people's faces in terms of being tough and gritty defensively. And I think the Pacers understood that.
Back to Rose. Left side Rose. And it's Gibson finishing it off.
I tell you what, it never gets old watching him work, does it, fellas?
No, Clark, that's a good way to put it. He will work. Great example of that on the offensive glass right there.
Yeah, just blue-collar stuff. And then he put a little flair in the dunk.
Jimmy Butler was the last pick of the first round back in 2011 by the Bulls. And last season, I tell you, he really solidified his place in the rotation, guys. He's still developing his outside shot, but he brings an awful lot to light to the table.
Here's Heinrich. Shoots from the baseline. It's going to be a 24-second shot clock violation. They turn it over.
Well, we've got a moment to look back at last year's Bulls. 8th in rebounding, 8th in assists. They were top 10 in free throw percentage. That's always helpful in winning games.
And what stands out to me, Clark, with what you just talked about is the rebounds, because this is a very physical team. They like to try to bully their opponent at both ends of the floor. On the defensive glass, they were excellent, and then offensively, on missed shots, they really got after it and tried to get second chance points.
And for Jimmy Butler, what a story. Abandoned as a child, bounced around from home to home. One coach would take him in, another family would take him in. It was a very tough upbringing down in the Houston area. He overcame tremendous odds. And to be where he is today with a great attitude after a short time at Marquette, it speaks volumes of his character.
Well, it sure shows in his play, doesn't it? I mean, just the way he hustles and draws foul.
All right, let's go over to the sideline with Doris Burke.
Hey, Kevin, during that last break, I heard Frank Vogel addressing his team. He was absolutely adamant, saying, don't let them off the hook. Let's keep our foot on the pedal and keep doing the things that have gotten us here this far. We're almost home.
Thank you, Doris. All fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset the lineups courtesy of Gatorade for the fourth quarter. And so in the game for the Pacers. Paul George is the 3 with David West at the 4. George Hill out there with Fresh, and it's Hibbert in at the 5, roaming the paint. Here's Yang, and it's going to be out of bounds. The Pacers will take it. And a chance now to check out the schedule for Indiana. Next up for them, the Knicks, a road game in New York. That matchup falls in the middle game of this 3-game trip. And it's going to be out of bounds. The Bulls will take it. And here's what the Chicago Bulls schedule is looking like. They'll be at home for the next game against the Bobcats. That'll be the latter half of this 2-game homestand.
A lot of attention on the Nuggets. You know, that Denver game really is interesting to watch.
And Indiana making a change here. Rangers checked in. Outside Rose. Smooth as silk on the finger roll.
I wasn't so sure he could get it turned around after that poor first half, but he's got it rolling here a little bit in the second.
A floater. No good from Fresh. Bulls trail by 9. Gang passes to Rose. A few possessions in the fourth quarter, just over a minute played. Butler off a bit from Dang. Gibson with a screen on George. Shot clock at 5. Rose. And that one's good. Rose has got 14 points here in the second half.
Boy, he's having a great half here. Exactly the opposite of the first.
About a minute and a half through the fourth quarter now. It's good from Fresh.
Not too many of those shots were dropping for him in the first half, but it's been a different story here in the second.
For Chicago, they've gone 2 of 3 from the field to get the fourth quarter started. Rose goes in. He kicks it to Gibson. Dang dishes to Boozer. And Chicago scoring again.
With a much bigger man guarding him, that's not an easy shot to get off. Never mind to knock down. Terrific basket.
And the shot's good from Fresh.
Looks to me like they hit the refresh button here in the second half after shooting less than 40% from the field before the break.
Well, they managed to hold down the fort defensively, and now their offense is finally starting to kick into groove.
Boozer with a screen for Rose. And Gibson kicks to Boozer. 5 on the clock. Rose goes in. Another one falls for Chicago.
It was almost like he was surprised to be that wide open, yet he knocked it down.
Back to Hibbert. And there's the pass to Fresh. And there are the Pacers with another bucket.
Guys, this doesn't look like the same team defensively we saw in the first half. I mean, they're flat as day-old pop.
And just about 3 minutes through the fourth quarter here. Rose kicks to Gibson. Butler. And some nice ball movement here by Chicago. And dang, here we go. Gibson passes to Rose. For 3. They get it back. Butler dishes to Dang. Passes it to Rose. Puts the lead pass in front of him. Now the Pacers moving it up. And that one is hammered home. And look at how the hustle game has been going for Indiana.
Boy, defensively, they've played with a high energy level, guys. And all the steals we've seen, really a result of that aggressiveness.
Yeah, I think you also have to give them a lot of credit for how well they've risen up to meet shooters to challenge shots in this game. A lot of blocked shots tonight.
Joakim Noah, he's checked in for Taj Gibson. Butler kicks to Rose. It's good, and he drew contact on the shot, so he will go to the line. A 3-point play chance here.
You know, nobody responds to end-of-game pressure like this guy. That's what comes to mind immediately for me. He's hit some monumental shots in his career, and some guys just embrace the moment at the end of the game. That's him.
And here's another thing about him, Steve. Every time he gets his hands on the ball in the backcourt, he's a one-man fast break.
Nice touch near the hoop.
Bulls trail by 10. We've got 1:55 left here in the fourth quarter. Right side Rose. Another shot. Noah's shot is off.
He's far too tentative in the paint, and even more so when the defender is up tight on him like that.
No good from Fresh.
Well, that's an excellent challenge right there. Good job contesting that shot by the defender.
Lets the 3 fly. Rose can't get that one to fall.
Well, he hasn't had much success shooting the ball, but it's not too late for him to get it turned around and start contributing.
Just an amazing game for Fresh. 25 points, and he's been a good on-the-ball defender, too. He's got a pair of steals.
Yeah, he's made some heads-up plays, Clark. He's done a really nice job defensively.
He doesn't get the second one. For Chicago, they've gone 5 of 10, 50% from the field. Rose goes in. Back to Butler. Backs him down. A finger roll finish at the bucket.
Broke out the finger roll, guys. That was kind of a stylish finish.
Here's Fresh. And off the glass. That one's good. And the Pacers lead by 11.
He is just tearing it up this quarter. That lead's not going anywhere while he's this hot.
And it's Rose missing. Guys, you've got to think a basket here would seal it.
No question about it. That would be all she wrote.
George passes to West. Fresh. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here. That's good from Fresh.
Well, the Bulls battled in last year's postseason. Got a Game 7 win in Brooklyn to sneak out of round 1 in what was one of the more interesting series of the first round, but then fell to the Heat in round 2.
So Indiana ends up with a new group on the floor. Snell is guarded by Johnson and taken away by Johnson. Now the Pacers moving it up. There's a 4-7.
Oh, my goodness. What a huge play. They didn't take their time wrapping this game up. They pretty much did it in a hurry.
Yeah, they had a nice spurt to polish this one off.
Heinrich dishes to Murphy. Back to Heinrich. Gives him the lead pass. T kicks to Muhammad. Snell uncovered. And he hits the jump shot. So no problem for Indiana as they get the win. Sundays.
It's been a ride. I guess I had to go to that place to get to this one. Now some of you might still be in that place. If you're trying to get out, just follow me. I'll get you there. You can try and read my lyrics off of this paper before I lay 'em, but you won't take the sting out these words before I say 'em. Cause ain't no way I'm gonna let you stop me from causing mayhem. When I say I'm gonna do something, I do it. I don't give a what you think. I'm doing this for me. So the world feeding beans is gassed up. If you think it's stopping me, I'm gonna be what I set out to be. Without a doubt,
That might have been your best game as a pro. You had your best scoring output ever, so clearly something was clicking. Did this just happen to be a good game, or is this the type of level we're going to see you playing at from here on out?
None of the above, man. We just scratching the surface with me. By this time next season, you'll see me play a game like this and think something was wrong. If this is my ceiling right now, I fully expect it to be my floor before too long. It's only a matter of time.